All right. Just waiting for Bina to come on.
Recording it? No.
There it is. I am now.
Okay.
Yes, I am now. All right. Brilliant,
Okay.
brilliant, brilliant. All right. I'm busy. I'm busy setting it up for Facebook. So we'll just hang
Mhm.
in there 1 second and we'll get going.
Mm.
Ah. Uh, I'll start in a moment. It's a bit slow.
Okay.
Bit slow.
No problem. No problem. I think it is good that we are doing it like right away,
Yes. Yes.
not just thinking.
Yes. Yes. Do it now before they discover a better way. For some reason, that was at the foot of my bed during high school. The last 2 years, very peculiar. I don't know how it quite got there. A bit of an odd saying, but anyway, the "do it now" was the part that stuck with me. So,
Mm.
all right, okay. No, I don't want to do it now. Okay, physical impacts of way of
You saw Cher's video, latest video about what if?
about what if? No, I have not yet.
Yes, she actually made a video on what if.
Oh wow, brilliant. That's very interesting. Okay. Oh, we can watch it a bit later, maybe.
Oh yes.
Very interesting. All right, we are going live. Yep, we are live. We know we are live. We are live. So, good morning, 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 morning.
Good morning.
Yes, yes,
Good
it is.
morning.
It is. It is a good morning. It is a most good morning. All right, so we.
Ah, a bit chill. A bit chill.
Yes, yes, a bit silly. Yeah, too. Yeah, too. That's very interesting. That's still by you also.
Mhm.
All right. So we're focusing on how the way of impeccability affects us physically in an actual
Oh yes.
physical way, right? And
Yes.
for you, because you brought this point up, and it's really powerful, that it's because it is a practical application, a way of
Mm.
being that results in practicality. This is very key to say, well, it's not just about your spirituality, your psychology, your mentality, your mindset, your attitudes, all of this. It is also physical, and this is really huge, right? Why? Why is this huge? Because
Mm.
impeccability, one of its core definitions is the best use of energy, right? Ah,
Yes.
so
Yes.
so if we are going to be using our energy in the best possible way, of course this has to include physicality, right? I mean, how can it not? It's like, well, duh, right? So
Yeah.
energy management is one of the key issues that we talk, because it all begins with energy management.
Yes.
Everything begins with energy, and if you don't manage that energy, well, then you just willy-nilly all over the show. All right. So but you didn't come at this topic from the point of energy management. You just said,
Yeah.
that way of impeccability is actually affecting me physically. It's like,
Yes.
wow, this was somewhat of a revelation for you, or a powerful thought idea. It's just like, wow, this is pretty cool. All right, so Bina, let me ask you, in terms of how it's affecting you physically. and you mentioned sleep and waking up specifically, but
Hmm.
not together. So the first thing you said was that your sleep pattern has changed, and because you have been setting an intent to change it deliberately. Yes.
Okay. For that, before going into this specific details, I need to share a bit of my background about of my sleeping pattern.
All
By
right.
birth,
Cool. Cool. Cool.
I am a very like I was a very like deep sleep child, and always like sleep more than usual, and
Hmm.
always really deep. And it was a struggle for my mother to wake me up in the morning,
Interesting.
and it was a struggle. Yes, so like they have to just physically they just come on, wake up.
Interesting. Interesting.
And even after that, after waking up, it took me like 15 to 20 minutes to just sit on my bed or chair and just staring in the air and talking to no one, looking at no one, because I need time. It needs time to get back to my senses. Like I need to just realize it and get used to it. What's So yes, though physically in my body was like in wake up state, but my mind was still struggling to get out of that
You were,
phase. It
you
was
were,
like that. And it was like a family joke. Yes, Beena will like sleep with open eyes for half.
you were in zombie mode.
Oh, yes, I was.
In all the time I've known you, you've never been like that, and sometimes you get on Zoom when you wake up because of the time difference. And
Yes,
it just,
yes.
I can't imagine you in zombie mode. But anyway, so
Right.
it's background to the story. So this is very good.
Oh
To
yes, it
the
was.
point that we're making. Excellent.
Oh yes, and it's not like right now, but for 2.5 years, I was deliberately trying to change my sleeping pattern. It was not like easy, and it was not happening at all. I was a night person who just wake up all the night and using internet and just chatting with friends because my friends are living in a different time zone.
Yes.
So and I was like, okay, so,
Yes. Yes.
but
I remember that when we first started chatting, we go to late
yes,
2, 3, 4 in the morning even. So yeah,
oh
yeah.
yes, oh yes. And sometimes my friends, Facebook friends, just ask me, Beena, why are you still awake? And I was like, because I can't sleep. This was my answer that I can't sleep.
Hmm.
Uh, but my sleeping duration was never been like a very limited one.
Hmm.
Always like need 8 to 9 hours even. So my sleeping pattern was like that in situation also. But after Way of Impeccability, in 2019, on New Year Eve, I just made a resolution. I said, now I call it intention. But it was like before it was a resolution, New Year resolution. I made that, okay, I will wake up in the morning and I will sleep early.
So now it was a New Year's intent.
Yes,
All right.
not resolution anymore. And
Intent
throughout
though,
the
not
year,
intention. Yeah.
yes, and throughout the year, I just keep reminding myself to wake up in the morning and go to bed in the night. So, okay, I was doing that. But even after doing that, when I woke up, it was like it was a struggle for me. That okay, I'm not feeling really fresh and things. Okay, but I have to do this, and I'm doing this, trying to do this, setting alarm, asking my mother to wake me up in the morning. Nothing. But when I start this way of impeccability and start implementing all these intents and ideas,
It,
somehow, though it was not like deliberately or saying it like very specifically saying that, okay, I am applying and I'm going to set my intent to wake up. But yes, this is what I was feeling inside. Okay.
so there was an
And then,
inadvertent consequence of the way of
yes,
impeccability, that it actually
yes,
changed your physical routines and ways of doing things and being. Yeah.
yes, yes.
Wow.
And exactly, this is what I was trying to say. and now like for 3 months I can say that it is like getting in get it is like setting in my body.
It's
And
settling in.
yes,
Yes. Yeah.
yes, settling in
Wow.
my body. And now when I wake up in the morning, I am in instant alert mood, because the
Yeah.
moment I open my eyes, I actually feel, okay, what is the time when I wake up without alarm? Without alarm.
Nice,
Okay.
nice. Because you set that intent to wake up
Yes.
without alarm. Yeah,
Yes.
that's fantastic.
Naturally.
That's fantastic.
Yes. And the first thought is, what's the time when I actually wake up? Though when I sleep in the night, and when I wake up in the morning, I actually really deep sleep in a deep sleep mood, because I don't wake up in the middle of night. No,
Nice, nice.
just sleep, and then my eyes open at the time I want to. And it was like, okay, sometimes a bit off, an hour, or sometimes just on time. But at any time when I wake up, I actually see I feel the time. Okay, what's the time? And then I look at my time, and then it is funny for me, because I actually don't know what's the real idea or concept behind uh, getting up from which side of your bed, but I start doing that, and I
Uh, uh,
actually, yes,
you make a deliberate choice to get up
yes,
on a specific side of the bed, and it varies and it changes. But you are
yes,
choosing the appropriate side for whatever reason it's appropriate. In other words, the right side of the bed, not right left,
yeah,
but the correct side, so that you don't get
yeah.
up on the wrong side of the bed. But you're doing this as a deliberate mechanism, and the way your bed is set up, you can get up on the left, the right, or the bottom. Three sides.
Yes, yeah, three sides I can choose, and I'm making it like deliberately. I'm just using it
Fantastic,
to sleep in the
fantastic,
center of
fantastic.
my bed.
Right,
I have
right.
a king size bed, double, so I can choose that.
Wow.
Yes, luxury again, and a
Yes,
blessing
yes,
also, and a
yes.
blessing also.
Magic, magic. But this is
And
powerful,
I
Tina.
was,
If nothing
yes,
else, whether they're choosing the side of the bed, it makes no difference if there is some, magical reason for whatever side. It's totally irrelevant. From a spirit
mm,
warrior point of view, from our strategy, from our impeccability, it is
mm,
the effect that it has on us that matters, not what's the
mm,
underlying basis for it.
mm,
Who cares? If you get up and you feel that you've
mm,
chosen the right side, you are now setting yourself. Yes, I've gotten up on the right side of the bed, and it's psychologically empowering, right, and energizing, and
mm,
set you the tone of the day. Now, by the time you've even chosen to get up, you've already done the same procedure of deliberately choosing your day, your mood, your mindset, your attitude, your focus, and also your intent. I mean, you've shared this with me before that when you wake up,
mm.
because we discussed this and it was part of the
Yes, yes,
discussed, mood management. And part of mood management was to do so that very first thing when we wake up. To not say, oh, how am I feeling? No, to say, how am I choosing to feel?
mm.
Right? I mean,
Yes, yes,
that's we discussed this in length, and
yes, yes,
we still do when we greet each other. We don't say how
yes,
are you feeling. We say how are you choosing to feel, because that's really the
yes,
question, right?
oh,
So
yes,
that has had a profound consequence. Also, we constantly speak about application, and to say without application it's all meaningless. So in that discussion of application, always we have to know what it is that we are applying. It's like, well, duh, you can't be applying if you don't have clarity of intent as to
mm,
what you are intending and what you intend to apply. So when you wake up in the mornings and you've said this, and you make a practice of saying, today my intent is to practice making the obvious obvious, or to practice hearing people, and you've had many different intents like that, and sometimes they run for multiple days until it becomes a part of you, and you can move on to the next thing until you've sufficiently applied and practiced it to make it your own and prove
mm.
to yourself that you have owned it. So this is a
Yes,
profound mechanism to start your day. Now,
yes,
so I want to say something else that's happening here, because we are actually talking about the inadvertent consequences of the way of
yes,
impeccability. And I
mm-hmm.
asked you, the key here is to pay attention to the subheading, the subtitle of the way of impeccability. It's the way of impeccability, a deliberate way of living. The way of impeccability is a deliberate way of living. So if we zoom out and we look at Zuma, Zuma, Bina, zoomed
Oh
out,
yes.
zoomed out Bina, which is Zuma. All right. So when we look at when we look at zoomed out Bina, right, Bina from a zoomed out perspective, before the way of impeccability, things were just willy nilly and they would happen, and you'd wake up and it's like, whoa, whatever, Uh,
Oh
there was
yes.
there was
Yes.
no specificity, there was no clarity, there was no deliberation. Now, pretty much every single thing you are doing is deliberate. You aren't just a leaf
Mm,
in the wind being blown around by whatever's going on. You are thinking, you are conscious, you are aware, you are deliberate. Not just deliberate in your actions, not just deliberate in your thoughts, not just deliberate in your mindset, in your attitudes, but deliberate also in things like your habits.
mm,
You are deliberately choosing to change your sleeping habits. You are deliberately choosing to sleep and wake up in specific ways. You are deliberately choosing to start your day in very specific, deliberate, empowering ways. You are leveraging that first moments of the day, because we know those moments are so powerful and transformative for setting the tone for the rest of the day. It doesn't have to be, we can start and then change later in the day, but it just tends to be that when you
mm,
start with high energy, you start with clarity, you start with a focused intent. We have millennia worth of DNA in us that has this already a program. So we don't have to do it, but we are leveraging this natural tendency and the body's tendency to take its mood, to take its tone, to take its cueing from the start of the day. And we are now saying, in a deliberate way of living, you are doing this, Bina. And this is the shift. You've shifted from an undeliberate way of living to a deliberate way of living, to living in awareness, right? And also,
mm,
you are setting your own attunement in that first step of the morning. You're not saying, well, I'm just going to, whatever the feelings and the moods are coming my way. Okay, well, today I don't feel like doing anything. So, no, you are saying, I choose. I'm the one in charge. So you are claiming your independence of being, right? It's manifesting in your physical habits because, like you said, you wake up, you're alert, you're energized, you're eager, you're enthusiastic. And this is the big point that I want to get to. This, yes, the deliberation is huge. The awareness is huge. You are paying attention deliberately and consciously to things like your habits, your routines, your sleep patterns, your moods, your attitudes, your mindsets. But even more so, there's a more profound, overarching thing. And that is that Bina is connecting to the moreness that is Bina, right?
mm. Oh yes. I
Huge.
was. Oh yes, it is huge, and the way you articulate this, I was actually not really aware of what is happening because I'm just choosing and setting intents for a few things. And when you shared first time about choosing a mood, that what mood you're choosing in the morning, and I just tried it, and my trying was like, okay, just saying to myself, in my voice, like out loud, saying that, okay, Bina, this is what I want to choose. And it didn't work for me, and I was like, how they said the intent, but that thing was just set in my mind, and it just makes me aware of that. Yes, this is the point, this is the time where I can choose, no matter what, how, but it is somehow just, it's a mechanism, it feeds into my mind. And uh, and then I start waking up in the morning, and the most amazing thing, that my mind, my body is alert, is waking up in alert mode. So I can choose, I can say. And the first thing is, okay, at what time, because I am aware of, I'm conscious of my time, where I am, at what time I'm getting up, and then which side of bed I want to get up. And then, okay, if it was left side, and now I'm using right side. And today I choose the bottom one, like, okay, from the footed, okay, I want to jump out of it, my bed, like this. And these all things, these all like small gestures or actions, it is empowering. It is like, okay, now I can control, and I have a control over my over my body also, because what you call zombie state, yes. And that state was like, okay, I have to get up, and I don't want to. But now my body is also reacting, responding in according to my intent. Now,
Yes, yes,
this
yes,
this
yes.
this was really impossible for me. My mind was actually in that state. Okay, accepting all these ideas, and okay, getting up early in the morning is good. Going to bed early is good. But my body was not in perfect alignment. But now my body is also responding, reacting
Uh,
according to my intent.
wow, wow.
And that's why I feel that a way of impeccability is just not about spiritually, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, but also physically
Right. Not
affecting
only
us.
about those things, but physically.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
So it is a revelation for me that okay, yes, now my body is actually
yes,
responding,
yes.
reacting accordingly, according to my intent. And
Yeah.
also it is like really empowering. It is a sense of empowerment inside that yes,
Yes,
if I can set an intent, my being, my physical body, it can also uh, do or actually react or respond accordingly, and i
yes,
can i can i have
yes.
control over it. So it
That,
is really exciting for me. It is
that,
really exciting for me.
yes, it is a profound moment of awareness to realize that our intent can incorporate our bodies. Now, 2 points here, Bina. 2 points.
Mm,
Very profound, these 2 points. That are,
mm,
if we zoom out again and look at overall Bina, not only have you become deliberate, but you have become deliberate in the application of intent. So you're not just deliberate when it comes to awareness and attention and what you are doing and how you are doing it, but you are becoming deliberate with your intent, and you are becoming deliberate in the application and implementation of your intent. Now, that's one thing to be deliberate about setting an intent. It's
mm,
quite another thing to have those intents come about, come to fruition, actually come into your life and actually come into fullness, and you achieve those and implement those intents, right? When you get to the end of it. This is
mm,
another thing entirely, because we can set many intents, but it doesn't necessarily mean that those intents are actually going to come to fruition and implement and manifest and become real. No. So when you, in this instance here, you now have gotten to this point where you're saying, oh my goodness, I've set specific deliberate intents and they happen. And man, these intents actually are applying to things which I didn't know I could have an effect on. Right?
yes, yes.
It's
Ah, sure,
it's
sure.
it's just amazing, brilliant. Hello, sir.
Hello, sure.
Sure. One moment. Let me just finish this point here. It's a powerful point. Hello, sir.
Mhm.
So Bina has become. We're talking about. Well, we'll catch up in a moment. Uh, so you, Bina, have come to this point where you are realizing that I have power with my intent. I can make things happen through my intent, and I can change my physical way of being, my patterns, my habits, all of this stuff. I can deliberately choose to do so. And this is, as you said, it is just like incredibly empowering, powerful, and liberating to realize
Oh
that,
yes.
hey, we can change our habits, even habits so profound as our sleeping habits, our waking up habits, our mood habits. So you've inadvertently come to mood management and also habit management, which of course all is connected to energy management, because it all begins with energy.
Wow, wow.
So you're starting at the starting point. Yes, energy management, paying attention to your sleep. Second
Mm,
part of energy management in the morning, to deliberately choose your mood and choose your intent for the day. This is not just mood management, but also energy management. Because if we wake up and whatever our mood just happens to be, when we wake up, it seems to be pretty random. If we don't
mm,
if we just continue with that, it sucks our energy and drains our energy, or it can if it's not a particularly, energizing, empowering mood. If it's just random. So it can drain
Mm.
our energy. But you are saying, no, 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 no. I'm going to choose a mood which is energizing, which keeps me alert, which is awake, which is intent, which is eager, it's enthusiastic, and all of the positive qualities that you wish to choose. That's energy management and mood management. That's where they sync together. This is very profound.
Mm.
And
Oh
of course,
yes,
you're
it
also
is.
implying, it's habit management, which is even more powerful because habits, if they aren't deliberate, they drain our energy as well, right?
Oh yes, oh yes, and now you just made me aware that if I can that this way of impeccability can help me or can empower me, leverage me to set to get control of my habits on my habits and also my physical being, so I can choose or I can empower myself for other physical things in my life also, like feeling good and feeling healthy and my immune system and everything.
Yes,
I can do a
yes,
lot of things.
yes, yes, yes. Your health, in other words, can be affected
Yes,
by your
yes,
intent. Yes,
yes. So it is really exciting for me.
it's very, very exciting. All right, Sherry. Hello, 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 hello. How are you, Sherry? How are you?
Good
And
morning. I'm
and
great.
more importantly, how have you chosen to feel this morning?
I woke up and I chose to feel completely alive, empowered, powerful.
Wow.
Bina, I'm doing a happy dance for you.
Oh my God.
Because I'm telling you what, when you get to that moment where you realize that you can choose anything it is. I mean, you can change everything, and it's all down to your choices that you make. You decide,
Wow.
always decide how you feel. Um,
Yes.
the rest of your life is going to be. You know, there's a little bit of conflict between do we have control, do we not? The one thing we do have control over is our choices.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes. And that's the key. That's why it's the way of impeccability, a deliberate way of living. When
Mm-hmm.
we
Wow.
choose, when we exercise the choice to choose, when we do that, we are being deliberate. Now, this is what deliberate means. It is that we are choosing to choose. We are, not life, not others, we are. And this is incredibly empowering because the moment we do that, we start to shift from being a victim of life to being in charge of our lives. This is huge.
Absolutely.
That's when we start to claim our independence of being. It is unbelievably good, unbelievably powerful.
So,
Um, uh,
can I back up a little bit?
Please go ahead, sure.
You know what do you think got you to that point? What brought you to this realization this morning that you have that kind of power?
I already shared that. Sure.
Okay. Okay.
That it was from my like it is like by birth thing that I always fell in really deep sleep, and it was a struggle for my mother to wake me up in the morning for school, college, and and not only that just calling my name out loud, okay, Veena, get up, but also just like wake me up physically. But it was like really struggle. And then even after waking up late, I used to sleep for 8 to 9 hours and a really, really deep sleep. And no noise can wake me up kind of sleep. And then after that, even after sleeping 8 to 9 hours completely, it's still when I wake up, it takes me 15, 20, or half an hour time to get my senses back to normal. Just like I am in a
It
buffer
used
zone.
to, it used to, right?
Yes,
Used to,
I
used
was, yes, I was in a buffer zone from my sleep mind to my wake up mind. And it was like, okay, just staring in the air and just sitting quietly and not doing anything, not talking to, uh, not getting up actually. So it was like, okay, it was for me, it was natural. And I was like, okay, this is me. I accepted that this is me. So how you can understand by this that
Yeah.
how deep this habit was for me,
Right.
how
And
deep
yeah.
seated this habit for me,
Yeah.
that I was actually accepting and believing that this is what is Veena, and I will never be able to get up early in the morning. I was the only one who gets up late in the morning, and I shared a lot of posts about that how my parents were just to encourage me to get up in the morning early. They were like, okay, keeping small gifts for me. Okay, if Beena will wake up at that time, I will give her this and that. So it
Wow.
was like really, really a struggle. But when I start 2019 was the year I actually said, okay, uh, I I really want to get up early in the morning and going to bed early. And throughout the year, I actually just made a one resolution for the new year 2019. But now I'm saying that intent. I just set an intent to get up early in the morning, and I was keep reminding myself and just keep doing this. And I was actually doing well. But but waking up in the morning after after that, in which state I wake up was something really out of control. Like, okay, yes, I wake up and I said, okay, Pina, you have to get up, get out of your bed. And it was like, okay, just pushing yourself and all these things
Laila,
and look at the time and all this. But
I'll
now
be back a second.
it is, yes, after way of impeccability, my mind and my body start responding accordingly. And now I wake up and I look at time without alarm. I'm just pushing myself. I am deliberately making this choice to wake up at a specific time without alarm, without anyone to wake me up.
Wow. Wow.
And I am getting it. And then just setting an intent thing. It looks
Yes.
so soft, so fragile, so minor, but it is really huge for your
Huge.
mind,
Huge.
because
Also,
it is happening to me.
yeah.
Yeah, it is really huge, and it starts a mechanism. It might take few days. It might take a bit more time for some. For some, might take less, but it will happen. I'm sure of it
Oh yeah.
because it
Oh yeah.
happens
Oh
to
yeah.
me.
Oh
It
yeah.
happened to me,
Capital P
and
persistence. Yeah. Yeah.
yes,
Uh,
and
Bina.
when Sil was saying yes.
Oh, carry on. Carry on. Son.
Okay, when Sil was saying this, just choose your mood in the morning, and I was like, okay, how to choose, how to set my intent,
But you
and,
persisted.
and because
Persisted, and you
I'm
figured it out.
okay. He didn't say that how to set an intent, and I was asking, and but he didn't say anything. So I said, okay, wake up in the morning and say it like your anthem, Beena. Okay, choose your mood, and I was like doing this.
Interesting. Bina, there's something that comes up
Yes.
very powerfully, and it comes up very
Mhm.
powerful also with Cher. You mentioned it, and it's just kind of casual. It just slips out. You say, "I used to be the kind of person that that's how I was," and
Yes.
I woke up and I was all sleepy, and it took me a long time to wake up.
Yes.
In other words,
Yes.
one of the most powerful things in the way of impeccability is the transformative self-conception, right? You see,
Yes.
Spirit Warrior, she signs her post, Cher Spirit Warrior. You too, you conceive of yourself as a Spirit Warrior, as do I. Now, different. Your conception is individual. We just happen to resonate with the concept of Spirit Warrior, but some have different concepts. But it doesn't matter. That personal conception of how you conceive of yourself in context of the application of the way of impeccability. That self-conception, this is profound. Why I'm saying this is because in the context of what you are saying, before you had conceptions of self, which were very limited
Yes.
and which just came about by default. And you said, well, that's how I am. And then you behaved accordingly. One of the
Yes.
things that has happened, a consequence of your interactivity with the way of impeccability, and for sure also. Sure did it very consciously and deliberately, which is powerful. Yours just came about organically and naturally. But it was the shift of your internal self-conception. to say, oh, you know
Yes.
what? I'm not the beaner of my legacy. I'm not the beaner of my environment. I'm not the beaner of my past. I'm not the beaner of just everybody else's ideas. Deliberate way of being. I, Bina, can choose, or Sher can choose my self conception. I can choose who I am, who I want to be, who I conceive of myself to be, how I feel, everything. So, this transformative self conception from one of being just, how you are, and that's how you are. And, there's nothing really you can do about it. What I am is what I am. That's how most people think, right? No,
Oh, yes.
we are free, we are fluid, we are flexible, we are adaptable. And from the way of impeccability, when it is in application, we are deliberate and we are aware, right?
Oh, yes. Oh,
And we
yes.
are
We are.
beings who can deliberately, with full awareness, choose to intend.
Mm.
Now, this is a
Oh,
whole
oh,
way of being.
oh,
Now,
yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Big
our,
time.
our, our topic today is the physical consequences of the way of
Yes.
impeccability, right?
Yes, this is what I was about to say, that sure, how I actually realize that it is affecting my body. Waking up in the morning is something. Okay, I can set alarm. I can ask anyone to wake me up at a specific time. It can happen, and okay, naturally also. But uh, that waking up in the morning or a specific time at a specific time without alarm, it means that I am actually deliberately asking my body to react and respond at that specific time. So this was the first thing. And the second thing was a habit of just being in a zombie state after waking up in the morning.
Yes.
It was throughout my life. So it means that it was like ingrained in me. Something, it was like I was like assuming that it is natural to me, that this is how I am, this is what I am. But, and it was physical. But when I realized that now I am waking up in the morning, first at a specific time naturally, without any alarm, without any other source to wake me up, and also I'm waking up in alert mode, in conscious mood, in
Ah,
awareness. Yeah, with awareness of
yes.
time, of my
Right.
being. Okay, what is the time? The first thing yes, I do check the time, that what time I wake up. And it is really important for me to mention that I sleep like complete 8 hours. When I go to sleep and I actually fell asleep, like
Right.
close my eyes and fell asleep, and then when I wake up, this is the total sleep time, because I don't get up in the middle and struggle to just change my side, go there, no, nothing. And I sleep deep.
Powerful.
But when I wake up, it is like just the moment I've opened my eyes, my mind become conscious, my body become conscious, and said, okay, this is now wake up time, and I'm feeling fresh, alert to be in my physical world, in my wake up world. So
Right.
this consciousness, this awareness, not only in my mind, but in my body also, because my body
There's the key.
is responding
Yeah.
accordingly.
Yes. We
So I
must
just realized
feel.
that, okay,
Yeah.
I can wake up by any means at a specific time, but now my body is not like behaving in that zombie mode.
Yes.
It
Bina.
is. So while we are sleeping, sorry to, I'm
No,
just
no, no. Okay. No,
continuing.
yeah.
So while I'm sleeping, my mind is dreaming, but my body is resting. But my body is also aware and my mind is also aware that it is a time duration and it is an intent. We have to wake up at that time. And the wake up means wake up. That's it. No more struggle.
Right. Right. Deliberation. Deliberation.
Yes.
Deliberation. It's really
So
huge.
I hope, sure, this is your answer, what
Yes.
you asked.
I,
I'm
I,
just sitting here listening in awe to you.
I,
That's all.
I want to ask Sir. I want to make a big point also. before I ask Sher how the way of impeccability and her has changed her physically. But we'll come to that in one moment. I just want to mention something else. The way of impeccability, because of its nature of what it is not something that requires you to believe. It is something which taps into your own inherent sensibilities, your own inherent idea of what is good and right and works for you. And there are self evident sensibilities. But one of the consequences of this, when we start to so deeply connect to ourselves and what's important to us, what's meaningful to us, what's significant to us, the individual, right, is that we now leverage our interest in the world. Take, for instance, Bina, we both share a love of vocabulary, as does Sher. All of us, really, everyone involved in the way of impeccability. We connect to
Yes.
vocabulary, not because we are nerds, but because we understand the power of vocabulary. Right. So I'm just saying, for argument, I'm just picking one simple thing that enlivens us. What I'm saying is there's an inadvertent consequence of the way of impeccability in this, that it leverages our interest in living. When we live deliberately and we choose to do so and in full responsibility, we are excited about living because we are in charge. We know we can choose how we feel, and life becomes exciting. Plus, the way of impeccability explicitly and deliberately connects us to the more, right? And that connectivity to the more, that interest, that eagerness, that enthusiasm, this translates down into the body. Why does it translate into the body? Because one of the things that we repeat over and over and over again is that without application, it's all meaningless. And when we say application, we mean that the idea, the concept, the knowledge, the newness, the habit, whatever it is that we're connecting to, the attitude, the mindset, it has to be assimilated and incorporated. Incorporated means put into the body. In other words, we have to feel it, otherwise it's not real. How many times haven't you heard me say that? Over and over, many, many times. If we don't feel it,
Yes.
it's not real.
Yes.
And this is why there are physical consequences to the way of impeccability, because we are deliberately making that effort to take our learning and put it into the body. And this is really what distinguishes the way of impeccability learning from pretty much most other learning, because they just put it in your mind, in your heart, and maybe in your emotions, but not in a physical way that you own it, because this is an entirely different thing. If the body doesn't own it, forget it. You're going to have all sorts of trouble applying it. So we need to do that. And this is why it's powerful. But I wanted to make the point too, that you're waking up alert, you're waking up with focus, with intent, is because the way of impeccability is connecting you to the more of yourself and the more of life.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
The world makes sense, and not only does the world make sense to you, in some way or another, but so does Bina, and your life makes sense. And this, of course, is, and same with you, sir. This, of course, is massively empowering and enlivening and energizing, right? So that enthusiasm that comes about naturally and organically from the way of impeccability, because it's a massively life celebrating way of being. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, but I feel that this was for me. It is a huge it is a huge deal. Waking up in the morning at specific time, my desired time, not only specific, but my desired time.
One simple thing
Yeah,
that has
and
massive and
waking up.
profound consequence. Yes.
Oh yes, and also that waking up in conscious state, in aware state is like really huge deal. It might not be for other people, but for me, and I feel that my body is responding according to my intent. It is like, oh my God, this is affecting me physically. So this was a thing. Sure, I feel really excited about that. This is affecting me physically. Come on, it's a huge deal. It's like a magic for me. That because naturally my body was always struggling.
Yes. And look at something
So
else that you
sure.
are applying right there, Bina.
Yeah.
One
Yes.
simple thing, the fact that you can wake up and set an intent to wake up at a specific time and actually do so. Just this
Oh
one
yeah.
simple little thing, but it is profoundly transformative and it is a huge big deal for you because
Yes.
because one of the things we speak about regularly is to pay attention to implications.
Yes.
Everything has
Yes.
implications. This one
Yes.
simple thing, yes, it is a simple thing perhaps in itself, but when looked at in the overview perspective that we constantly strive to achieve, and we start to look at its implications, it is profoundly transformative because the implications are if you can do it with this, you can do it with something else. And you have.
Yes.
You've not only changed your sleep time, but you've changed the way you wake up. You're waking up with awareness, with energy, with enthusiasm. So you're changing how you are. You are changing your habits, your mindsets, your moods. You are changing deliberately. That
Yeah.
is
Oh yes.
empowering and transformative and absolutely huge. Plus, your self conception has changed to one
Oh
which is
yes.
I'm just, a victim. I'm just not a victim, but I'm at the mercy of the world. Things come at me from outside. I just react to the world. No, now your
Oh
self
yes.
conception is one where things start inside me and go from inside to out. You've
Oh
shifted and
yes.
reversed the entire process. It's to
Oh
show
yes.
you,
And sure.
show you.
Oh yes. Oh yes. It is. Sure. Uh, I don't know if you are aware of this idea of getting up, which side and choosing which side of bed to get up in the morning. Uh, I just heard that. I just read somewhere. I don't get it what it means and why it is important. But I
Um,
just choose it as an action, as a deliberate action to to just put myself in that aware mode. That's it. I have no idea about this. That why people just focus or emphasize on that to choose which side of bed to get up. So I am practicing. It was left in the bed like for a month,
Right.
and now it is on right. And today was from the foothead. So I just jump out of my bed from that
Right.
side.
And look at the application there, Bina.
yeah, it's huge actually.
Right. The
Oh
application
yes,
of something very specific that we talked about many, many times. A spirit warrior gets usefulness and value, regardless of whether things are true or not.
oh yes,
Doesn't matter
and
if this thing about getting up on the right side of the bed or the wrong side of the bed has any truth or validity to it. You're getting value out of it regardless.
oh yes, and sure. I just love your post, your video of what if.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. We'll get to that in a moment. Bina, hold on one second. We'll get to that in a moment. I
So
want to
I just
Oh no,
ask
no,
sure.
it's exciting because what we can do is, we can end this one and start a new meeting on Sher's post. But I want to ask Sher first, specifically, Sher, what have the physical impacts been for you in terms of the application of the way of impeccability, your shift, you've undergone such a profound transformation, and the application of the way of impeccability for you is a daily ongoing thing. Your posts are an application of the way of impeccability. But I'm
Yes.
curious to ask what physical changes have come about for you.
Physical changes. For one, I sleep the entire night through. When I go to sleep, I sleep. Um, I do have some good dreams. They're not bad dreams. They're
Wow,
colorful dreams.
wow,
Then one of the interesting things is I'm very very attuned to my own body now. Whereas I can actually feel if there's something negative going on around me or a negative person, I'm really actually physically feeling that.
wow.
The most special thing, I've suffered with arthritis for years, and I just got reminded of that again this morning. Like 3 or 4 years ago, it was bad enough I was walking with a cane, and I had all.
Wow.
Oh,
I am able now to do without the medications. I have
oh my God. Oh my God. Wow.
Wow.
I'm
because
so
I,
so happy.
but because I've chosen now to just, there's a choice to feel better. There's a choice to tell myself I'm not ill.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh
You know,
yes.
it's all those positive things that you take in. My weight now, I mean, I feel like exercising again. My weight is starting to come back off, and I'm not even worried about it, whether it does or doesn't.
That's the key right there, and that's
I
fantastic.
am excited about being in this body.
Wow.
I
Wow.
used to not like it. I used to want to hide it. And now I'm excited about actually physically being in and taking care of this body because I'm excited about my own soul. So that whole application, you know, the application of the goodness is once I trusted that process and that message that I am worthy, I am good enough, I have power, everything started to fall off of me. And so now I just, I feel like I'm this whole different being. I'm still the same person, but I'm a whole different being.
Yeah,
I don't know how else to explain that.
and the key difference is, again, when we zoom out, the share of now is a deliberate being.
Yes. Yes.
The show of then was not so much deliberate, right? It was pretty undeliberate, yeah.
Exactly. I was just kind of letting happenstance, you know,
Right,
throw me around life.
right.
And I do know that there's, you know, there's a plan for everything. There's a, you know, God has a plan, the universe has a plan, there's always a plan.
And sure has a plan.
Yes, and I do. And I can choose, you know, every single day when I get up in the morning. And Bina, I love that you're getting up on the bed, because what you're doing, like Sil said, you were just taking and making that very deliberate choice to make something change. And that's people.
Oh, yes.
They choose. They're like, oh, I don't have any choice. This is my life. This is how things are.
Yes.
Shit, it's not.
Yes. Yes.
It's not.
That activity. Yes. It's so powerful. So powerful. That action, that simple thing of Bina choosing which side of her bed to get on, says those three choices. It is that act of deliberation. It's one of her exercising her choice to say, this is me choosing. It's me being deliberate, and that's really huge.
Yeah, not just going with the flow. I mean, people do that all the time when we're struggling with, like, you know, breaking habits. We have to conscientiously, we have to create disciplines for ourselves. Sabina, what you've created is a discipline.
Oh yes, oh yes.
It is discipline. And the end goal in mind is whatever you set that to be. So your discipline every day is what we practice every day to improve our life and to get to our goal.
And if we come back to our power terms, you know, one of the real power terms in our dictionary of power is self-leverage, right? So when Bina chooses that side of the bed to get on, like we said, a spirit warrior gets value. Whether things are true or not makes no difference. We get value either way, right? However, and especially, I should say, in this particular case, Bina's deliberate choice, it's this profound mechanism of self-leverage. Just that simple thing that you're doing to say, I'm choosing this side or that side or this side, whichever one. This is a self-leveraging mechanism for saying, hey, I'm getting up on the right side, and therefore I'm good, I'm right, I'm appropriate, I'm energized, I'm aware, I'm alert, I'm eager, I'm enthusiastic. Self-leverage. Simple little things sometimes for our inner bureaucrats. They need a reason why. It's just how they are set up. Venus is saying, okay, I'm getting up. And because it's deliberate, they say, oh, okay, well, Bina got up on the right side of the bed. Oh, brilliant. Now everything is wonderful. Understanding our insides and understanding that what goes on inside us, you know, sometimes it's complicated, but it's also very simple. And we can leverage that in simple things like this deliberate action of self-leverage. It is really profound. It's a very profound application of one of our very key points of the way of impeccability. Yes?
Yes.
Bina?
Oh yes, oh yes, it is. And also when you have control, when you have some sort of control over your mind and energy, it levels you to see and found more, and capital M, more, because it was not now it is not about only right side or left side. It is also about just jumping from the foothead. And it is fun.
In other words, you are jumping out of bed.
Yes.
Wow.
And from the foothead side, which is really exciting.
Wow. Sure. While we chat, will you share that video to the group, please? The video Bina was talking about.
Which one?
The what if one. You're gonna share
Oh,
all your stuff to the group in sir. That's it. Just share it all. It's all good.
oh, I've been trying to get there.
Ah, right, right.
I get snippets throughout my day, and so now I've got
That's
this
it.
one
Yeah,
going
I
in
hear you. I hear you.
to
Uh,
do.
because I was thinking what we can do is we can end this particular live and then start a new one, and do a discernment of this particular video. It grabbed Bina. So we'll. I know I haven't watched it yet, but I want it in the group so that everybody can watch it, and we'll just start a whole new thing.
Two words are just so profound, and it's mind blowing
Right,
that
but we'll get there. Save it for when we shift to that. I just want to tie up this particular, this particular life of
Oh yes.
the
Oh yes.
the physical consequences of the way of impeccability. Because here's the key, and it's one of the core elements of the way of impeccability is that it is a practical philosophy. It is a practical way of living. It is practical spirituality. Because without application, all of the stuff is meaningless. And this is the key. So, Bina, when you said, hey, you know what? There are physical consequences to the way of impeccability. This is huge because it is what we are making an effort to do, to feel what we are, to feel our new attitudes, our new mindsets, our new conceptions, our new abstract understandings, to feel it. Because if we don't feel it physically and if we don't change our physical routines and our physical habits, we can't manage our energy, we can't manage our moods, we can't manage our habits. It's all connected to that physicality. So this is a very, very
Uh,
big deal that you
yes.
now are you're opening up this subject, this physical consequence. Very powerful.
Also, I want to add that it is not about physical habits and physical routine. It is about how your body, physical body, is responding accordingly, according
Exactly.
to our intention.
Exactly. There are
Something
consequences that we
yes.
don't necessarily do it specifically, but just through the application of actually applying it the way we apply it, because we apply it by putting it into the body, by making it our own, by proving it to ourselves, by feeling, by feeling our conception. We have to feel the stuff, otherwise it ain't real. And that is, it automatically translates into physical consequences like more energy, like a better feeling about being in charge and just about being more aware, all of the stuff. It's a physical thing, absolutely. Very powerful.
Yes.
Very powerful.
Okay. So it's been really nice sharing with you guys. So
Ah,
we'll
it's
wrap up.
fantastic. Yes, we wrap up. All right. Sure. Anything to add on closing?
No, I'm waiting to hear the video back on this one, so it'll
All
be
right,
pretty
all right.
exciting.
So share it to the group so that I can play it, and then I'll do a screen share, and then we'll watch it together. So I'm going to end meeting, and then just give me a minute or two, and I'll start another meeting, and I'll start Facebook Live again, and then we'll watch the video.
Wonderful. All right,
Okay.
thanks. See you,
Okay.
Tina.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. See you.
See you in a
Bye.
minute. All right. End meeting. End meeting for all. All right. Bye bye. Bye bye.